In the year 2378, humanity reached what should have been its greatest moment. After centuries of dreaming about the stars, Earth had finally cracked the secrets of faster-than-light travel. A massive ship called Odyssey 1 carried humanity's brightest minds and most skilled diplomats to meet with the Galactic Council, a coalition of advanced alien civilizations that govern trade, laws, and peace across thousands of star systems. For the first time, humans would step onto the galactic stage as equals. The Council's orbital station was a marvel beyond imagination. It floated in the void between two distant stars, glowing faintly like a jewel encased in darkness. Towering spires made of materials no human scientist could identify stretched toward infinity. Strange creatures moved through shimmering corridors, their forms ranging from insectoid to ethereal. Humanity felt small, insignificant even, but also hopeful. This was their chance to prove they belonged among the stars. Inside the Grand Assembly Hall, representatives from dozens of species gathered around a circular platform where Odyssey 1's crew stood nervously. The air buzzed with anticipation and judgment. Many of the aliens regarded humans with cool detachment, while others whispered amongst themselves, their voices translated into clipped mechanical tones by universal communicators. Dr. Elena Voss, the lead diplomat for Earth, stepped forward. Her voice trembled slightly as she began her speech. "We come not just as explorers," she said, "but as dreamers who wish to learn, grow, and contribute to your great alliance." She spoke of humanity's achievements, the invention of radio, the landing on the moon, the discovery of quantum mechanics. But her words were met with skepticism. Some council members exchanged glances, their expressions unreadable. Others openly scoffed. A towering crystalline being named Zinlath spoke next. Its voice resonated like a chorus of bells. "Your species has shown remarkable progress," it admitted, "but you are too young, too volatile. Your history is riddled with wars, oppression, and environmental destruction. You lack the maturity required to join us." Before anyone could respond, disaster struck. In an effort to demonstrate humanity's technological prowess, engineers aboard Odyssey 1 activated a prototype energy core meant to showcase Earth's innovation. Something went horribly wrong. With a deafening roar, the device overloaded, unleashing a shockwave that tore through part of the station. Alarms blared as panels exploded, sending shards of metal and glass spiraling into the vacuum. Dozens of alien lives were lost in the chaos. Panic erupted. Council guards rushed to contain the damage, while injured aliens cried out in languages no translator could decipher. Back on Earth, news of the catastrophe spread instantly. People watched in horror as footage of the destroyed section of the station played on screens worldwide. The dream of joining the Galactic Council turned into a nightmare. When order was restored, the verdict came swiftly and mercilessly. Humanity was declared unfit for membership. Worse still, they were permanently banned from all galactic affairs. No trade agreements, no diplomatic relations, no sharing of knowledge or technology. Earth was cast out, left to fend for itself in the vast, cold expanse of space. As Odyssey 1 limped back home, carrying survivors burdened with guilt and shame, humanity faced its darkest hour. Governments collapsed under public outrage, economies faltered, and protests erupted in cities across the globe. Yet amidst the despair, whispers of defiance began to surface. If the galaxy refused to accept them, then humanity would carve its own path, one that didn't rely on handouts from alien overlords. For now, Earth was alone. But isolation breeds resilience, and humiliation fuels ambition. Little did the Galactic Council know, their rejection would spark something far greater than they ever imagined. The rise of humanity's greatest empire. The ban from the Galactic Council left Earth bruised and bitter, but it also ignited a fire within humanity. For weeks after the disaster, people mourned their lost opportunity. Streets were filled with protests, debates raged on every news channel, and governments scrambled to pick up the pieces. Yet beneath the anger and despair, something unexpected began to take root: unity. With no alien allies to rely on, humanity realized they had only one option: to stand together or perish alone. Old rivalries between nations faded as survival became the top priority. The United Nations transformed into the Global Alliance, a single governing body tasked with leading Earth through its darkest hour. Leaders who once fought over borders now collaborated to rebuild what little hope remained. Scientists, engineers, and thinkers from all corners of the globe pooled their knowledge, determined to prove that humanity could thrive without outside help. At the forefront of this new era was Dr. Elena Voss. Once ridiculed for her failed diplomatic mission to the Galactic Council, she reinvented herself as a symbol of resilience. "We don't need them," she declared during a televised address. "If the galaxy won't accept us, we'll build our own future, a brighter one." Her words resonated deeply, inspiring millions to rally behind her vision. In research labs across the planet, breakthroughs began to emerge. Without access to alien technology, humans were forced to innovate using nothing but their ingenuity and resources. Quantum computing advanced at an unprecedented rate, allowing computers to process data faster than ever before. Renewable energy sources like fusion reactors replaced outdated fossil fuels, providing clean power to cities worldwide. Artificial intelligence evolved rapidly, creating machines capable of solving problems humans hadn't even thought of yet. But perhaps the most significant change came in space exploration. Denied entry into the galactic community, humanity turned its focus inward, to the solar system they called home. Massive projects launched to colonize Mars, mine asteroids, and establish orbital habitats. Private companies partnered with governments to send probes deeper into the cosmos than ever before. Each success fueled public morale, proving that despite their isolation, humans were far from powerless. Among these efforts stood Admiral Jacques Corwin, a decorated military officer tasked with protecting Earth's fledgling colonies. Born into poverty, Corwin rose through the ranks thanks to his tactical brilliance and unwavering determination. He believed that humanity's strength lay not just in its technology, but in its spirit. "We're survivors," he often said. "No matter how many times we fall, we always get back up." Yet not everyone shared this optimism. Some feared that humanity's rapid advancements came at too high a cost. Environmentalists warned about the dangers of unchecked industrial growth, while ethicists questioned whether humanity was repeating the same mistakes that led to their exile. Tensions simmered beneath the surface, threatening to boil over as progress accelerated. Despite these challenges, the seeds of a new empire were sown. Earth was no longer just a planet. It was the heart of a growing civilization stretching across the stars. Though still isolated, humanity refused to be defined by rejection. Instead, they embraced their independence, forging a path unlike any other species in the galaxy. As the years passed, the scars of the past began to fade. Humanity learned to walk tall again, driven by a singular belief: if the galaxy wouldn't welcome them, they would create a place where they belonged. And though none could foresee the trials ahead, one thing was certain: the age of Earth's resurgence had begun. Years after Earth's banishment, humanity continued to push the boundaries of its solar system. Colonies on Mars thrived, asteroid mining operations yielded untold riches, and orbital stations became bustling hubs of activity. Yet despite their progress, one question lingered in the minds of scientists and leaders alike. Could Earth sustain its rapid expansion without running out of resources? The answer came unexpectedly, and it changed everything. In 2415, a routine survey mission near Neptune uncovered something extraordinary. A small team of explorers aboard the Pioneer Horizon, led by Commander Rhea Malik, had been mapping the planet's moons when they stumbled upon an anomaly on Triton's icy surface. At first glance, it appeared to be a natural formation, a jagged ridge cutting through the frozen landscape. But as the team scanned deeper, their instruments detected unusual energy signatures emanating from beneath the ice. Curiosity turned into awe when drills broke through the surface. Beneath the thick crust lay a vast cavern illuminated by faint otherworldly light. Inside, towering crystal formations jutted upward like ancient spires, pulsing softly with energy. These crystals contained exotic matter, elements so rare that even advanced alien civilizations struggled to synthesize them. It was unlike anything humanity had ever seen. Commander Malik named the discovery Elysium, after the mythical paradise from human history. Word of the find spread quickly, sparking excitement across Earth and its colonies. Scientists theorize that Elysium's minerals could revolutionize energy production, medicine, and technology. Within months, mining operations began, transforming Triton into a hive of activity. Massive drilling rigs descended onto the moon's surface, while automated transport ships ferried raw materials back to processing facilities orbiting Saturn. The impact of Elysium was immediate and profound. Fusion reactors powered by its exotic matter generated clean, limitless energy, reducing reliance on dwindling terrestrial resources. Medical researchers developed treatments for previously incurable diseases using compounds derived from the crystals. Even artificial intelligence saw leaps forward, thanks to processors enhanced by Elysium's unique properties. Entire industries sprang up overnight, fueling economic booms across the solar system. But prosperity brought challenges. Control over Elysium sparked fierce debates among Earth's factions. Some argued that the global alliance should manage distribution to ensure fairness, while others believed private corporations deserved a larger share due to their investments. Tensions escalated when rival mining companies clashed over territorial rights, leading to skirmishes in Neptune's orbit. Pirates, emboldened by the chaos, began preying on supply lines, stealing shipments worth billions. Amidst this turmoil, Admiral Jax Corwin found himself tasked with maintaining order. His fleet patrolled the outer reaches of the solar system, intercepting pirate vessels and mediating disputes between competing interests. Though respected for his leadership, Corwin grew increasingly uneasy. He feared that greed and infighting would undo all the progress humanity had made since their exile. Still, there was no denying the transformative power of Elysium. Cities on Mars expanded rapidly, fueled by cheap energy and advanced materials. Lunar colonies became self-sufficient, exporting goods to Earth for the first time. Even distant outposts around Jupiter flourished, connected by trade routes made possible by Elysium-powered engines. Humanity's reach extended farther than ever before, solidifying its dominance within the solar system. Yet whispers of concern persisted. What if Elysium attracted unwanted attention from beyond the stars? And what secrets did the crystals hold? Secrets that might change humanity's understanding of the universe forever. For now, though, humanity reveled in its newfound wealth and strength. Earth's banishment had forced them to look inward, and in doing so, they discovered a treasure that rivaled anything the Galactic Council could offer. Elysium wasn't just a resource, it was a symbol of hope, a reminder that even in isolation, humanity could achieve greatness. As humanity's influence expanded across the solar system, cracks began to form in the fragile unity that had held Earth together since its banishment. Elysium's discovery brought prosperity, but it also ignited fierce competition among factions vying for control. Corporations clashed with governments, colonies demanded independence, and pirates disrupted trade routes, plunging the outer reaches into chaos. It became clear that without a stronger central authority, humanity's hard-won progress would collapse under the weight of greed and division. In 2421, Dr. Elena Voss proposed a bold solution: the creation of the Solar Federation. This new government would unite all human settlements, from Earth to the farthest colonies, under one banner. Its purpose was simple yet ambitious: to ensure peace, regulate resources, and protect humanity's future. Voss argued passionately that only through unity could humans overcome their challenges and build an empire worthy of the stars. Her proposal sparked heated debates. Some saw the Federation as a beacon of hope, a way to preserve the harmony forged during Earth's darkest days. Others viewed it as a threat to freedom, fearing centralized power would stifle innovation and suppress individual rights. Colonists on Mars and Titan worried they'd lose autonomy to bureaucrats on Earth, while corporate leaders resented the idea of sharing Elysium's wealth. Despite the opposition, Voss pressed forward, rallying support from influential figures like Admiral Jacques Corwin. Together, they framed the Federation not as a tool of oppression, but as a partnership, a coalition where every colony, corporation, and citizen had a voice. After months of negotiations, the Global Alliance officially dissolved, giving way to the Solar Federation. Its charter was signed aboard the Unity Station, a massive orbital hub designed to serve as the Federation's capital. The Federation's first act was to establish strict regulations over Elysium mining. Mining licenses were issued based on need and contribution, ensuring no single entity monopolized the resource. Trade routes were secured by Corwin's fleet, which grew into a formidable navy tasked with protecting humanity's interests. Pirates faced harsh consequences, and rogue corporations found themselves cut off from supplies if they refused to comply with Federation laws. For many, life improved dramatically under the Federation's rule. Infrastructure projects connected distant colonies, creating a network of trade and communication that spanned billions of miles. Education and healthcare systems flourished, funded by Elysium's profits. Artists, scientists, and engineers collaborated on ventures unimaginable just decades earlier. Humanity's golden age seemed within reach. But not everyone celebrated. Rebel groups emerged, decrying the Federation as tyrannical. On Mars, the Red Dawn movement called for secession, claiming the Red Planet deserved self-rule. In Saturn's rings, smugglers and mercenaries formed alliances, determined to resist Federation control. These dissenters found unlikely allies in corporate elites who chafed at the new regulations, secretly funding rebellions to undermine the fledgling government. Admiral Corwin took the lead in addressing these threats. His flagship, the Invincible, patrolled contested zones, engaging pirate fleets and dismantling rebel strongholds. Though celebrated as a hero by many, Corwin earned enemies too. Critics accused him of using excessive force, labeling his methods authoritarian. Yet he remained steadfast, believing that order was essential for humanity's survival. By 2430, the Solar Federation stood as a testament to humanity's resilience. It wasn't perfect, far from it, but it represented a step toward stability in a chaotic universe. For the first time, humans governed themselves across multiple worlds, united by shared dreams and ambitions. Yet beneath this newfound unity lay simmering tensions. The rebels grew bolder, their attacks more coordinated. Corporate saboteurs plotted in secret, waiting for the right moment to strike. And beyond the solar system, unknown eyes watched humanity's rise with cautious interest. The Federation had proven humanity could stand tall in isolation, but could it withstand the storms brewing within? For nearly a decade, humanity focused inward, building the Solar Federation and expanding its reach across the solar system. Earth's banishment had taught them to rely on themselves, and they thrived in their isolation. But the universe is vast, and even the most determined efforts to stay hidden cannot defy fate forever. In 2437, humanity's solitude came to an abrupt end. It began with a routine exploration mission near Saturn. The Pioneer Horizon, now upgraded with Elysium-powered engines, was charting the outer edges of the rings when its sensors detected something unusual, a derelict alien ship drifting silently through space. Its sleek, obsidian hull was scared by time and damage, but it was unmistakably alien. Commander Rhea Malik, leader of the expedition, approached cautiously. Her crew scanned the vessel, finding no signs of life or power. Against protocol, she decided to investigate further. Inside the ship, the air was cold and stale, carrying the faint scent of decay. Strange symbols glowed faintly on the walls, pulsing like dying embers. The corridors were eerily silent, save for the hum of the Pioneer Horizon's equipment. Then they found it. A chamber filled with crystalline consoles, their surfaces etched with intricate patterns. At the center stood a pedestal holding a glowing orb. When one of Malik's engineers touched it, The orb activated, projecting holographic images into the air. The data was fragmented, but enough remained to piece together a chilling story. The ship belonged to a faction known as the Concordat of Shadows, a secretive alliance of alien species operating outside the Galactic Council's control. According to the archives, the Concordat sought to overthrow the Council, believing it corrupt and oppressive. The ship's crew had been gathering intelligence when disaster struck. Their mission failed, leaving them stranded until death claimed them. News of the discovery spread quickly, igniting fierce debates within the Solar Federation. Some saw an opportunity to strike back at the Galactic Council by aiding the Concordat. "They rejected us," argued Dr. Elena Voss during an emergency council meeting. "Why not side with those who share our grievances?" Others warned against entangling humanity in alien politics. Admiral Jax Corwin voiced his concerns bluntly. "We don't know these aliens. Helping them could drag us into a war we're not ready for." Despite the warnings, factions within the Federation acted without waiting for consensus. A rogue group, led by corporate magnate Victor Kane, launched covert operations to contact the Concordat. Using the data recovered from the alien ship, they transmitted messages into deep space, offering resources and technology in exchange for an alliance. To their surprise, the Concordat responded. Secret meetings took place aboard remote outposts in the Kuiper Belt. Representatives of the Concordat, shadowy figures cloaked in shimmering veils, spoke of shared enemies and mutual goals. They promised advanced technology and protection if humanity joined their cause. For Kane and his allies, it was everything they'd hoped for. But others, including Corwin, suspected ulterior motives. "They're using us," he warned. "Once they get what they want, they'll discard us." Tensions escalated as rumors of the secret negotiations leaked to the public. Protests erupted on Earth and Mars, with citizens divided over whether to trust the Concordat. Meanwhile, pirate attacks increased, targeting Federation supply lines and colonies. Evidence surfaced linking the pirates to the Concordat, suggesting they were testing humanity's defenses. As the debate raged, one thing became clear: humanity's isolation was over. Whether by choice or circumstance, they were being drawn into galactic affairs once again. The question wasn't if they would take sides. It was which side would claim them first. And somewhere beyond the stars, the Galactic Council watched silently, their patience wearing thin. What began as cautious negotiations with the Concordat of Shadows quickly spiraled into something far more dangerous. Victor Kane's rogue faction, emboldened by promises of power and revenge against the Galactic Council, escalated their involvement. They supplied the Concordat with Elysium-derived materials, believing these resources would tip the balance in their favor. But instead of gratitude, humanity found itself dragged into a shadowy conflict that threatened to consume everything they had built. The first signs of trouble came when pirate raids intensified across the solar system. Ships carrying vital supplies were ambushed, colonies along Saturn's rings were attacked, and communication relays were sabotaged. At first, Admiral Jax Corwin suspected internal dissent. After all, rebels and smugglers had long opposed the Solar Federation. But as the attacks grew more coordinated and devastating, evidence pointed to an external force: the Concordat. It turned out the aliens hadn't been honest. Their true goal wasn't overthrowing the Galactic Council, it was destabilizing humanity. By funding pirates and arming rebel groups within the Federation, the Concordat hoped to weaken Earth's burgeoning empire before it could pose a real threat. To them, humanity was expendable, a pawn in their larger game. When this truth came to light, outrage swept through the Federation. Leaders who had once argued for cooperation with the Concordat now demanded retaliation. Even Dr. Elena Voss, who had initially supported diplomacy, admitted her mistake. "We trusted too easily," she said during an emergency assembly. "Now we must fight, not just for survival, but for our future." Admiral Corwin took command of the Federation Navy, launching counterattacks against pirate strongholds and Concordat operatives. His flagship, the Invincible, led daring missions deep into contested zones, dismantling enemy bases hidden among asteroids and moons. Yet every victory came at a cost. Pirate fleets, equipped with stolen Elysium technology, fought back fiercely. Civilians bore the brunt of the violence, fleeing colonies under siege as supply shortages gripped the outer reaches of the solar system. The turning point came during the Battle of Titan. Once a thriving hub of trade and industry, Titan became ground zero for one of the bloodiest conflicts in human history. A massive Concordat fleet descended upon the moon, intent on seizing its refineries and crippling the Federation's economy. Corwin's forces scrambled to defend the colony, outnumbered but determined. For days, the battle raged. Explosions lit up Titan's icy surface as ships clashed in orbit and troops fought street by street below. Amidst the chaos, Commander Rhea Malik led a daring raid behind enemy lines, disabling a key Concordat dreadnought and turning the tide. Though victorious, the Federation suffered heavy losses. Entire neighborhoods lay in ruins, and thousands of lives were lost. Back on Earth, public opinion shifted dramatically. What had started as a controversial alliance debate transformed into a unified call for resistance. Factories worked around the clock to produce weapons and reinforcements, while volunteers flooded recruitment centers eager to join the fight. Humanity's spirit burned brighter than ever, forged in the crucible of war. Yet even as they pushed back against the Concordat, questions lingered. Why had the aliens targeted them? Was the Galactic Council somehow involved? And most importantly, could humanity survive another prolonged conflict? Victor Kane disappeared shortly after the Battle of Titan, his role in the betrayal exposed. Many called for his arrest, but he remained elusive, rumored to be hiding among the Concordat. Meanwhile, Admiral Corwin prepared for what he knew would be the final showdown, a confrontation that would decide not just the fate of the Solar Federation, but humanity's place in the galaxy. The Shadow War had only just begun. As the Shadow War raged on, humanity faced a grim reality. Despite their ingenuity and resilience, they were outnumbered and outgunned. The Concordat's relentless assaults pushed the Solar Federation to its limits, straining resources and testing morale. Entire colonies teetered on the brink of collapse, and whispers of surrender began to spread among the weary populace. But Dr. Elena Voss refused to give up. She had spent her life fighting for humanity's place in the galaxy, and she wasn't about to let it all crumble now. In a desperate bid to turn the tide, Voss unveiled an audacious plan: the construction of the Helios Array. This massive orbital weapon would harness the power of Elysium's exotic matter to emit a pulse capable of disabling entire fleets. It was a project born of necessity, a last-ditch effort to protect Earth and its colonies from annihilation. "We've been underestimated before," Voss declared during a Federation-wide broadcast. "But no one underestimates us twice." The announcement sparked mixed reactions. While many hailed the Helios Array as humanity's salvation, others feared its implications. Critics argued that such a weapon could make humanity appear aggressive and vindictive, potentially alienating any future allies. Some even questioned whether building the array might provoke the Galactic Council into intervening directly. But with time running out, the Federation pressed forward, pouring every available resource into the project. Construction began in secret near Mercury, shielded by the planet's intense heat and radiation. Massive drones mined raw materials from nearby asteroids, while automated factories assembled components at breakneck speed. Engineers worked around the clock, fueled by adrenaline and caffeine, knowing their efforts could mean the difference between victory and extinction. Admiral Jax Corwin oversaw security operations, ensuring the site remained hidden from prying eyes. Meanwhile, intelligence reports painted a bleak picture. The Concordat was preparing for a final assault, a massive fleet gathering beyond Pluto, poised to strike at the heart of the Solar Federation. If the Helios Array wasn't completed in time, humanity's defenses would crumble under the onslaught. Every delay felt like a death sentence, and tensions within the Federation reached a breaking point. Victor Kane resurfaced unexpectedly. leaking classified information about the array to the Concordat. His betrayal sent shockwaves through the leadership, forcing Corwin to divert forces to hunt him down. A fierce battle erupted on Titan, where Kane had taken refuge in a fortified compound. Though victorious, Corwin lost valuable ships and soldiers, resources the Federation couldn't afford to spare. Despite these setbacks, progress on the Helios array continued. As the structure took shape, its sheer scale inspired awe. Stretching miles across space, the array resembled a colossal web of glowing conduits and shimmering panels. When activated, it would unleash a pulse of energy powerful enough to disable electronics and engines over vast distances. For the first time in months, hope flickered back to life. But the Concordat knew about the array now. Their spies had infiltrated the Federation's networks, feeding them real-time updates on its progress. With time running out, they launched diversionary attacks across the solar system, stretching Corwin's fleet thin. Desperation gripped the Federation as everyone braced for what seemed inevitable. A race against time. Dr. Voss stood aboard the Unity station, watching the array come online. She knew the stakes better than anyone. If the weapon failed, or if the Concordat struck first, it would be the end of everything humanity had fought so hard to build. Yet as she gazed at the swirling stars beyond the viewport, she allowed herself a moment of quiet resolve. Humanity had risen from humiliation and isolation once before. They could do it again. The final days leading up to the completion of the Helios array were a blur of tension and chaos. Every system, every colony, and every citizen of the Solar Federation held their breath as humanity prepared for what could be its last stand. The Concordat fleet loomed on the edge of the solar system, growing larger with each passing hour. Intelligence reports confirmed that they intended to strike at Mercury, where the array was nearing activation. Admiral Jax Corwin scrambled his forces, knowing full well that the Federation's survival depended on holding them off long enough for the weapon to come online. But betrayal struck when it hurt most. Victor Kane, still hiding among the Concordat after his leak of classified information, made one final move to secure his legacy. Or so he thought. Using encrypted channels, he contacted key figures within the Federation, offering them a deal. Sabotage the Helios array in exchange for protection and wealth once the Concordat took control. To everyone's shock, some accepted. Among them was Lieutenant Marisolis, a brilliant engineer overseeing the array's core systems. Driven by disillusionment with the Federation's central authority and promises of a better life, she secretly tampered with the array's power conduits. Her actions went unnoticed until it was almost too late. During a critical test run, the array faltered, emitting only a weak pulse before shutting down entirely. Engineers scrambled to diagnose the issue, but time was running out. Admiral Corwin sensed something was wrong. "This isn't just bad luck," he muttered during an emergency briefing aboard the Invincible. He ordered a full investigation, even as pirate raids intensified around Mercury. The Concordat had launched diversionary attacks across the solar system, stretching the Federation's defenses thin. Corwin knew they couldn't hold out much longer. Meanwhile, Dr. Elena Voss worked tirelessly to rally support. She traveled to the front lines, speaking directly to soldiers and workers, urging them not to lose hope. "We faced worse than this," she said, her voice steady despite the exhaustion etched on her face. "If we fall now, everything we've built will be erased. Don't let fear win." Her words inspired many, but not all. When Lieutenant Solis's betrayal was uncovered, she confessed under interrogation, revealing Kane's involvement. Enraged, Corwin vowed to bring him to justice. With no other options left, he led a daring assault on Titan, where Kane had fortified himself inside a heavily guarded compound. The battle was brutal, fought amidst icy plains and crumbling structures. In the end, Corwin emerged victorious, but at great cost. Dozens of ships were lost and hundreds of lives sacrificed. Back at Mercury, engineers worked frantically to repair the array. With Solis's sabotage undone, they managed to restore partial functionality. But the Concordat fleet was already en route, closing in fast. There was no time for further testing. The array would have to be activated mid-battle. As the enemy fleet entered firing range, Corwin issued his final orders. "Protect the array at all costs," he commanded. "It's our only chance." Pilots saluted grimly, knowing what lay ahead. The skies above Mercury erupted into chaos as Federation ships clashed with Concordat vessels. Explosions lit up the void, and debris rained down onto the planet's scorched surface. Amidst the carnage, Dr. Voss stood on the command deck of the Unity station, watching the battle unfold. Her hands trembled as she gave the order to activate the Helios array. The structure hummed to life, its conduits glowing brighter with each passing second. Everyone braced themselves. This was humanity's last gamble. When the pulse fired, it swept through space like a tidal wave of energy. Concordat ships shuddered and went dark, their systems overwhelmed. Cheers erupted across the Federation fleet, but the victory came at a steep price. Countless lives had been lost, and scars would remain for generations. Yet even as the dust settled, questions lingered. What had driven people like Cain and Solus to betray their own kind? And more importantly, could humanity truly trust itself moving forward? Betrayal had nearly destroyed them, but resilience had saved them. For now, Earth stood safe, but peace remained fragile, hanging precariously in the balance. The activation of the Helios array marked a turning point in humanity's war against the Concordat, but it was far from the end. Though the pulse had disabled much of the enemy fleet, fragments of their forces remained intact, and they were desperate. The Concordat commanders regrouped, rallying what ships and resources they could salvage. Their pride and survival instincts drove them to launch one final devastating assault on Earth itself. This time, there would be no room for error. The battle began with a surprise attack on Mars, humanity's second stronghold. Concordat fighters swarmed the red planet, targeting its orbital defenses and mining facilities. Explosions tore through colonies as civilians scrambled for shelter. Admiral Jax Corwin, already stretched thin after Mercury, rushed reinforcements to defend Mars. But he knew it was a diversion. The real objective wasn't Mars, it was Earth. As predicted, the main Concordat fleet bypassed Mars entirely, heading straight for Sol. Humanity's homeworld braced for impact. Cities dimmed their lights, preparing for blackouts caused by electromagnetic pulses. Civil defense systems activated across continents, guiding millions into underground bunkers. Dr. Elena Voss stood in the command center of the Unity station, her eyes fixed on the screens showing the approaching enemy armada. "This is it," she whispered. "We fight or we die." The skies above Earth erupted into chaos. Federation ships formed a protective perimeter around the planet, engaging the Concordat fleet in brutal dogfights. Pilots pushed their vessels to the limit, weaving between enemy fire while launching counterattacks. Every explosion lit up the atmosphere like fireworks, but these pyrotechnics came at a terrible cost. Ships burned, crews perished, and debris rained down onto Earth's surface. At the heart of the battle was Admiral Corwin aboard the Invincible. His flagship led daring charges into the Concordat lines, drawing fire away from vulnerable civilian targets. Communication channels crackled with voices shouting orders, warnings, and cries of loss. Despite the odds, morale remained high among Federation forces. They fought not just for themselves, but for every human who had ever dreamed of reaching the stars. But the Concordat had one last trick. A massive dreadnought emerged from the fray, its hull bristling with weapons capable of shattering Earth's fragile orbital defenses. If it fired, billions would perish. Corwin realized the only way to stop it was to sacrifice his own ship. "Prepare for collision protocol," he ordered, his voice calm despite the weight of his decision. His crew protested, pleading with him to reconsider, but Corwin silenced them with a firm gaze. "This is what we've trained for," he said. "Tell my family I'm proud of them." With engines roaring, the Invincible surged forward, ramming into the dreadnought at full speed. The resulting explosion engulfed both vessels, creating a blinding flash that illuminated half the solar system. When the light faded, the dreadnought was gone, and so was the Invincible. Silence fell over the comms as news of Corwin's sacrifice spread. Tears flowed freely, even among seasoned soldiers. Inspired by his bravery, Federation forces launched a renewed assault. Without their flagship, the Concordat fleet faltered, retreating into deep space. By the time the dust settled, Earth's skies were clear once more. Victory had come, but at an unimaginable price. Dr. Voss addressed the survivors later that day, her voice trembling with emotion. "Today we proved something greater than any weapon or strategy," she said. "We proved that humanity will never back down, no matter the cost. Let us honor those we've lost by building a future worthy of their sacrifice." Though battered and scarred, humanity endured. The Battle of Sol became legend, a testament to courage, unity, and resilience. But as the galaxy watched this defiant species rise again, questions lingered. Would peace follow such devastation, or was this merely the prelude to greater challenges ahead? For now, Earth stood victorious, but the scars of war ran deep. In the aftermath of the Battle of Sol, humanity stood battered but unbroken. Earth's cities bore the scars of war, burnt-out buildings, shattered infrastructure, and memorials honoring those who had fallen. Yet amidst the ruins, a quiet sense of pride took root. The Concordat had underestimated them, and for that mistake, they paid dearly. Humanity had not only survived, it had triumphed against overwhelming odds. The Solar Federation wasted no time in rebuilding. With Elysium resources still flowing, reconstruction efforts moved swiftly. Colonies on Mars and Titan were repaired and fortified, their defenses upgraded to prevent future attacks. Orbital platforms equipped with advanced weaponry encircled Earth, ensuring that no enemy would dare approach again. Meanwhile, engineers began designing new ships powered by Elysium technology, faster and stronger than anything humanity had built before. It was clear, the age of vulnerability was over. Dr. Elena Voss emerged as a symbol of hope during this period of renewal. Her leadership throughout the war had inspired millions, and now she spearheaded initiatives to heal the wounds left behind. Under her guidance, the Federation launched programs to support grieving families, rebuild shattered communities, and provide education for the next generation. She often reminded people of Admiral Jax Corwin's sacrifice, urging them to honor his memory by striving for peace without complacency. "We are survivors," she said in one speech, "but we must also become builders." Yet even as humanity rebuilt, questions lingered about their place in the galaxy. News of the battle spread beyond the solar system, reaching ears within the Galactic Council. For years, the Council had dismissed humans as insignificant, a volatile species unworthy of attention. But the Concordat's defeat forced them to reconsider. Reluctantly, ambassadors from several alien races reached out, offering an olive branch. They proposed lifting Earth's banishment and inviting humanity back into galactic affairs as equals. The offer sparked heated debates within the Federation. Some argued that rejoining the Council was an opportunity too valuable to pass up. Others, however, saw it as a betrayal of everything humanity had fought for. "They rejected us once," said Commander Rhea Malik during a council meeting. "Why should we trust them now?" Many agreed, pointing out that humanity's greatest achievements had come not through alliances, but through self-reliance. Ultimately, the decision fell to Dr. Voss. After days of deliberation, she delivered her verdict. Earth would decline the Council's invitation. Instead, humanity would forge its own path, one free from the politics and prejudices of alien civilizations. The announcement sent shockwaves across the galaxy. To outsiders, it seemed arrogant, even reckless, but to humanity, it felt like freedom. With renewed purpose, the Solar Federation turned its gaze outward. Exploratory missions launched into deep space, charting uncharted star systems and seeking new opportunities for growth. Trade routes expanded, connecting distant colonies and fostering cooperation among humanity's diverse populations. Artists, scientists, and philosophers collaborated on projects aimed at understanding their place in the universe and shaping it according to their values. As decades passed, humanity's influence grew. Their ships ventured farther than ever before, carrying not just weapons but ideas, diplomacy, innovation, and resilience. Other species watched cautiously, unsure whether to fear or admire these determined beings. Slowly but surely, humanity earned respect, not through force, but through perseverance and vision. Earth's banishment had been a wound, but it became a catalyst for greatness. What began as isolation transformed into independence, then ascension. Humanity didn't need the Galactic Council to validate its worth. They had proven themselves capable of standing tall among the stars. And so, under the banner of the Solar Federation, humanity carved out its destiny. From the ashes of rejection and war rose an empire unlike any other, one defined not by conquest, but by hope. As Dr. Voss often said, we may have started alone, but we will never end that way. For the first time in history, humanity truly belonged, not because someone allowed it, but because they made it so.